One topic almost always guaranteed to spark reaction is traffic. See, you already have an opinion on that. And we're glad you do, and that's probably why you tuned into this episode. Hi, everybody. I'm Randy Warren. Today, we are talking about enforcement, all the things that our deputies are doing out there in the area of traffic today on the Well Said podcast with Sheriff Rick Wells.
Randy, it's good to be back. Very eager to discuss this very hot topic. Like you said, everyone has their opinion on traffic, and it's not good. And we all have to deal with it each and every day here in Manatee County, and that's why we have our guest today, Deputy Leggett, here is with us. He's a traffic connoisseur, loves working traffic, and we're glad to have him in that position. So, I want to take you back to 1986, gentlemen. I was a state trooper. Leggett, were you even born?
No,
okay.
Not even yet.
All right, so you have no reason to.
I was just a baby.
To say anything. Yeah. Okay. So I'm a state trooper here in Manatee County. We have half of the population that we have now. During that time, we had 3 squads, and each squad had at least 6 troopers on that squad. We had a trooper assigned to the interstate during every shift, and then the other troopers would respond to crashes throughout the county. That's totally different today here in Manatee County, and I want to preface this by saying state troopers are great. We have some outstanding troopers here in Manatee County, but they're overwhelmed. They're understaffed. They can only do so much, and they are going from crash to crash to crash each and every day, but they just don't have the manpower. Now, why that is, I don't know. I don't know why, but they have less manpower in Manatee County in 2026 than they did in 1986. And somehow that's going to have to change. So what does that have to do with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office? We're having to, pick up the slack. We found out years ago that citizens are waiting 3-4 hours after they were involved in a crash or waiting for FHP. That's not our primary function. That's not really what we want to do. And back in 1986, a deputy would never have to work a crash in Manatee County. State troopers did their job. Deputies did their job, right? We would come together when needed. They were there to help us with traffic control, but we, FHP, handled the crashes. And that's just no longer the case. So we've had to increase staffing with our traffic unit, and we're having to pick up these crashes each and every day. So our citizens are not waiting 4 hours for a trooper to respond, knowing that trooper's got 5 additional 6 crashes waiting in the queue, right? Who knows when they're going to be able to get there. And
work in multiple counties,
That's
like
right.
you said.
And a lot of times they may have to go work in Sarasota County. They are good at what they do. They are good at working traffic homicides. I mean, they've got that expertise. They just don't have the staffing.
And a lot of people don't understand that because explain how the police departments in the cities do a lot of their own crashes.
That's right. So if
counties in the state of Florida, it is the Florida Highway Patrol primarily.
That's right. If you work in a municipality, if you work for Bradenton PD, you handle all the crashes in the city of Bradenton and Palmetto and Tampa and St. Pete. But outside of those city limits and those unincorporated areas, state troopers work the crashes and they handle the interstate. So the point is that we're trying to do our best to keep up with the population and to handle. So not only do troopers have just this overwhelming job of trying to work crashes, they can no longer be proactive with traffic enforcement. And that's what we're trying to do. That's why we have Deputy Leggett here today. We're trying to pick up that slack. We're trying to do more, but also understanding we handle over 300,000 calls for service a year, 900 calls for service a day. So we're trying to do everything that we've always done and now tackle the traffic issue. So it's
You're a busy
it's
man,
a lot.
Jared.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a challenge, that's for sure. Especially with, like you said, the population growth in the county. I was born and raised here. I've seen this county grow up, and it's astronomical the amount of traffic that we're seeing today. So trying to keep traffic flowing is what we're after too.
And you've been doing this a while.
This is my 14th year this month.
And for those that don't know, Deputy Leggett, he rides a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because I think that that's very important for us to have a motor unit when it comes to traffic enforcement. So tell me about that unit and what that consists of.
So our motor unit's comprised of 4 motor deputies. We have a motor sergeant who just graduated motor school, so Sergeant Mackay. We primarily do education through enforcement. So we're out there trying to make contact with the citizens, keep everybody safe. If we come upon a traffic crash, we are the crash guys. We will come out, we'll work those crashes for you, get the citizens moving, because like you said, we don't want them sitting on the side of the road for 4 or 5 hours waiting for a trooper to show up sometimes. I would say we're also one of those units where if you have an issue or you have a problem, or some of the district captains will come to us and say, hey, I got a problem in the community. We're the guys that will go out and take care of that.
So how many complaints do you think we receive on a monthly basis just about traffic concerns, traffic, speed, and other areas of congestion?
I would say we're at least getting, I think that phone call probably, that traffic hotline never stops ringing. I think it's constantly going. I get the PR emails all the time for patrol request emails all the time saying, hey, you have new areas of interest you guys need to go take a look at. So it's never ending. And it's only going to get worse as traffic gets bigger.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because I think that, people that have been here pretty much their whole life, we know how it used to be in Manatee County. Those days are over. Those days are gone.
Unfortunately.
I mean, we're looking at 460,000 people in this county on a good day. It's much more than that right now with our northern residents. We're looking at between 480, 485. There's a lot of people here.
And we jumped straight from snowbird season right to the tourists coming in. We don't ever really leave a season. I don't know if you've noticed any change between the summer months and the winter months anymore.
Not like we used to.
Not like the old days when
Yeah.
you knew that our northern residents were going to leave around Easter, so that during the summertime you would see that decrease in traffic congestion. Now it's every day. It doesn't go away. People get aggravated. We get that. That's why we have, our road rage calls, because people get angry and they can't control their temper, and you just got to know.
And you see somebody in the fast lane driving slow with their blinker on.
Yeah, that's irritating as well, right? It is.
Maybe one of our northern visitors.
Well, and like we talked about earlier before this, going north and south over the river, I mean, especially in the morning times, in the rush hours, I mean, you have to pack your patience. We're all trying to get to the same place at the same time. There's no need to get angry with each other and do those road rage situations. Just pack your patience. We'll get through it.
I think that, most people get it now, especially in the morning and also in the afternoon. I mean, it's aggravating. I come out of Parish every morning. I know now that 301 is going to be backed up and it's going to be moving slow. I know when I get to the Civic Center and get on 41, that bridge is going to be backed up, and 41 is backed up all the way north past like 17th Avenue and Palmetto. We know that's going to happen. So you've got to plan. And that's where we see the anger come out. People that are not planning, trying to get to point A to point B quickly. It's not going to happen. They're driving like fools, and we have issues with that.
Yeah. Sorry, Sheriff, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. So, Jared, you talk about probably a list of things, and we'll ask you, from distracted driving. But I think to play off of that, this aggressive driving is what I notice. I mean, just on a short commute from maybe, the office to lunch, you got somebody who looks like they're playing a video game.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen everybody from playing video games, weaving in and out of traffic
Yeah.
like it's Mario
Right,
Kart.
right,
To I've had people watching TV going down the road. So, or you get people putting their makeup on going down the road.
Yeah.
The distracted driving plus the aggressive driving, and you add speed in there with it all. These are all the reasons why our crashes are occurring. People just not paying attention to what's going on around them. And all it takes is one crash on any of these major thoroughfares going north or south in our county, and it congests the rest of the county going north and south, especially during our rush hour times.
So I'm going to bring up something that I know people don't like to hear, but we have to get off of our phones when we are driving. We have to. Easier said than done. We all see it. I drive an unmarked vehicle. You could pull over 100 vehicles in an hour. It's dangerous. It's distracting you from the hazards in the roadway, and it's just not good to do. And we've got to. I mean, there's education. There are commercials. There's talk about it all the time, but people just refuse to get off those phones. I don't know what's so important, because I wouldn't mind if you ran over my phone. I get tired of my phone. So if you want to run over, so if I don't want to look at it, and a lot of people have, they'll put it on silent and they'll put it in the center console. But we have so many people just, texting, looking at videos, you name it.
And you got that going through school zones too. That's been one of the big ones here lately, is people being on their phones going through construction zones and school zones. You need to be attentive in those areas. We got kids crossing the road.
You're not talking just about hands-free,
No.
because very few people are holding the phone up. In newer cars, we have the Bluetooth. You can put it on speaker, but it's almost like they get in their car, and that's when they're going to have that conversation. It's like, that's my time to connect with my friends, and obviously the texting, or even writing like an email at a traffic light.
Right, and you're seeing them with their heads down, going through with their phone in their hand, literally just typing, going through the school zones.
Or how many times are you behind someone, the light turns green, and you're waiting there for them to move, but they're right in the middle of a text.
Because our heads
And they're oblivious. They're oblivious.
Yeah, they're entirely oblivious. They don't know what's going on around them. And
GPS,
that's dangerous.
Other things too that you might be messing around with within the car. So do you think even the entertainment systems are a little distracting to us? Because we got all kind of toys in our cars now.
It's getting that way anymore, right?
I mean, I'm all about, the technology, hands-free. That's what I use. That doesn't distract me. That helps me. I can still talk and stay focused on what's going on ahead of me, but it's a lot more than that. And you see bills come through every year, and they're trying to limit our access to the phone as we're driving. They haven't really passed. We have the no texting law, but that's hard to enforce. You got to be able to prove that person was texting, and that was the reason for the stop. Well, that's not going to happen. It's very hard to do that.
I do like that though, because on the motorcycle, I can kind of slide up next to you, and I can kind of look over and see if you're texting.
Yeah, you've got the low key operation going on there, but for the rest of us, we can't tell. We can assume, but assuming is not probable cause.
This is true.
What is typical, Jared?
For what?
When you're just out doing your job, and you see stuff happening, and you have to pull somebody over, the blue lights are on, and what are you seeing mostly?
Most of our stops that we're getting anymore is we have a really bad speed problem in this county. So when people do find that those holes to shoot through to get through traffic, they're doing it, and they're doing it at way excessive speeds. I think we just had one at 113 on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard the other day.
And we've got the
That's
speeder
a 45.
law.
Yeah,
The new speeder law.
is that a go to jail?
That's a super speeder.
That's a super, big time.
Yep.
Right. So we didn't have those. Back in the day, you didn't have a super speeder, but that's the legislators' way of trying to control this racing on the highway and this excessive speed on the highway. But I mean, you're going to go to jail.
That's aggressive and dangerous driving.
Right.
I mean,
for speeding. I think about that. I mean, hey, I went to jail for what? For speeding. You're not going to fit in well with your buddies on that one, man. That's That's stupid.
I don't
You know what I mean?
Maybe it's a rite of passage.
I don't know, but you got to slow down.
I mean,
You're lucky you didn't hit a tree
Oh,
at 113,
exactly.
right?
It's not
or
worth
someone
it.
else.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's not even the. I mean, a few years ago, I got a 131 on 64 out by K Road. Like, it absolutely insane speeds that we see out here.
Are these
sometimes.
younger drivers?
They're younger drivers. The 131 was a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, that boy doesn't even know how to drive yet.
Right. And
Yeah.
we're out there
You got a
doing
car
these
with some
types of speeds.
horsepower. I mean,
Yep.
just the temptation. And again, maybe it is that influence of your playing games, and you like that need for speed, and you get behind the wheel, and you're just not being responsible. So we do our best that when you do pull them over, really, there's consequences, but also a lot of education every day.
Yeah, I think sometimes some of these younger drivers don't understand that they don't respawn like a video game. You know, when they hit something doing 130 miles an hour, there's no redo. So education, doing the enforcement on it, getting a hold of parents, and really trying to hammer this home is where it's at.
Yeah, there's so much I believe we miss nowadays when it comes to our young people in regards to driver education. You know, driving at a safe speed. Based on conditions. We don't talk about when it's raining. Even though it says 45, doesn't mean you need to drive 45, right? You're not going to be able. Your stopping distance is reduced. You're not going to be able to stop as quickly as you think. You're going to hit that car in front of you because you're not paying attention and you're driving too fast for conditions. And just taking your time, especially during the summertime when we're having rain every day. The roads are wet. The oil is coming up from the roadway. It's slippery, and it seems like we've lost the education component when it comes to our young people about just the correct way to drive anymore. We just, hey, go take your driver's test, give them a key to a Mustang, and what do you think is going to happen? As parents, we've got to take on that responsibility now of teaching them how to drive correctly. And what I see too, Jared, is that so you got State Road 70 backed up, you got 64 backed up. So now they're cutting through these neighborhoods, right? So they're trying to find that little route where they can get away from that congestion. So so we get all these complaints from neighborhoods, and they are valid complaints. And so now you've got someone going 45 through this neighborhood. It's a 25 or 30 mile an hour zone. You got people walking dogs, trying to enjoy the evening, and you got people just cutting through there like maniacs.
And a four-way stop, you have to stop even if there's no cars coming.
Stop. Yes.
You
always have to stop.
That's what I've been told. That's what I've been told
all the time.
Those are not optional. But you're right. They're cutting through neighborhoods, and that's a majority of the complaints we're getting. There are people cutting through neighborhoods, and they're doing it at excessive speeds, and it's dangerous to. I mean, we always preach that this is a live, work, play community, right? That's what Manatee County is supposed to be, and you can't enjoy that, and you can't go out walking down. Like, I'll give you an example: Buffalo Road. I get a lot of complaints for speeders out there. It is a current traffic complaint. We'll get 60s and 70s out there on a 40 mile an hour road, and I got people walking their dogs and going to school, and buses coming through, and it's important. Pay attention to this stuff.
We're not tolerant. People are more concerned about themselves than they are others, and just I got to get here. And I don't care what it takes. I don't care how fast I have to drive. And, it's a problem that we all see. And, people get irritated with us because we're not everywhere. We can't be everywhere. And, and Jared, if we are working speed enforcement in one area, yeah, people are going to slow down. As soon as we leave and go to another area, well, speed's going to pick up again, right? They're going to start speeding again. But, we are trying to increase our traffic squad. We're trying to put as much resources as we possibly can into trying to cover not only the normal duties that we cover and investigate each and every day, but the traffic problem as well. But people have to be more tolerant and understand they have a responsibility to drive safely and to do their part to make this a safer community. But we see the direct opposite. And so does everyone else that's trying to obey the law. They see it too, and it aggravates them, and we get it.
And in many of our communities, we're seeing some other things involving transportation.
Are you going to bring up e-bikes?
E-bikes are a hot
You
topic.
had to do it.
Oh,
you had to
man.
do
We
it.
have
That's
to.
a good one. So, the
So the
e-bikes
kids are
and
on those and their
e-motos.
scooters, right?
Well, I'd say the biggest problem you're having right now is the difference between an e-bike and an e-moto. An e-moto is the one that doesn't have pedals at all. It's just foot pegs and are greater than 750 watts. So some of these e-motos, they're advertised to run 70. They'll do 70 miles per hour, and you're handing this to a 14-year-old kid to go to school with.
So let's just get this out. They're a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot be operated on the roadway. You have to have a tag and all the applicable safety requirements that any vehicle would have. You have to have a driver's license,
Right.
right? It's, number one, have to have a DL.
Endorsement.
Yeah, yes, and have to have an endorsement. These kids are driving these vehicles on the roadway at great speeds with no formal training, no understanding of traffic laws, and they're getting hurt because they're violating the right-of-ways of a 3,000-pound vehicle. And we're seeing throughout the state, this is a major problem throughout the entire state of Florida,
Yes.
not just here in Manatee County. And we get numerous complaints about these electric vehicles. And we're trying to educate as well. And parents need to take a little bit of time. And we talk about this all the time. You got to tell your kids, you can't ride these things on the road.
They're not even, the ones you do see, they're not even wearing, even if you're trying to do it right, you're not even wearing the proper safety gear, proper helmets. You're not even doing what you're supposed to be doing right. They're not supposed to be on the road, they're supposed to be on private property. If you want to go take them and take them out to your ranch and ride them around, have a blast.
Yeah, and one thing that we've seen too is, some of the kids that we've had to interact with is they're rude and discourteous to those around them. We get a lot of those complaints. We've had some near misses where they've almost hit pedestrians out there. They have hit cars, and we're lucky that we haven't had any fatalities
Right.
up to this point. But in other areas of the state, they have. So yeah, that's a huge problem.
I do fear we're on that trajectory though.
We're seeing a lot. We're seeing a lot more of them out and about, especially when school lets out. If you go down White Eagle, Lakewood, you'll see these kids are riding home on these electric bikes or whatever you call them, and they are not paying attention.
And I know you listed off all of the citations that we normally are issuing for these. I mean, a vast majority of what you rattled off are criminal violations. They're not just civil penalties. They're criminal. So
we're seeing it, and people need to realize we're aware of it. We're doing something about it. But you've also said, as Sheriff, you say all the time, we want to educate people, and we're going to gain compliance through education,
right?
Hopefully. But we are having to also issue citations.
We've issued a lot of citations. We've done a lot of education. We've done a ton of education, and that's the thing we try to keep doing. I mean, I can speak for myself. I've had kids I've tried to educate before. I go to stop them, and then they run from me on these bikes. So
we've had repeat offenders.
Bad move,
right?
We have had repeat offenders.
And let me tell you what else we've had that has been frustrating for me. We've had parents cuss out deputies for even stopping their child and trying to educate them about the do's and don'ts and what's lawful and what's not. And we don't have any time for that. We're trying to help your child not become a victim. And so there's a problem. Because I'm not the parent. We're not the parents. So that's where it starts. You gotta if you're gonna buy them one of these electric vehicles, you need to tell them how to operate it safely.
Absolutely. There's no reason for them to be on the road.
Well, aren't you just trying to make a quota?
There's no such thing as a quota. There's no such thing as a quota. There's no time of the end of the month that we're getting near that we have to. I mean, I know he'll back me up on this. There's not a number we have to reach.
No.
At the end of every month.
We're all about education. I mean, there's no quota. I tell them you can write as many tickets as you want. There's no quota.
I mean, if I go out there and I write a few tickets, or if I go out there and do a bunch of education, I think either way I'm accomplishing my goal. I want to do enforcement through education. Sometimes a ticket is warranted. Sometimes it isn't. the discretion to do
It
the right
has to
thing.
be with the deputy.
Right.
So, and people think we get all this money from a citation. We don't. We get cents. We don't get any money that's significant from a citation. There are several different areas where that money goes. We're not trying to make money off of a ticket. I would much rather give someone a warning and they comply.
I mean, if we could get everybody to do that just with a warning, this would be absolutely awesome.
It'd be great.
It'd be wonderful. But sadly, it's not the case.
Do you feel like you do more warnings than you ever do citations? Or is it
I
maybe
think,
it's not?
I think if I looked at 2025, I pulled some stats on that. I think we did the traffic unit alone did like 22,000 citations, and I think we did about 12,000 warnings. So
sometimes you can't give a warning.
Sometimes you can't.
But Randy, if you're doing 40 miles over the speed limit,
You're gonna get it.
Ain't no warning for that.
yeah. If you're doing 20 over the speed limit, I mean, we got to slow down and pay attention. It's real simple. I mean, this is not.
And that's
hard.
what people need to realize.
Your first ticket's
you're
at
not
6
gonna
to
get
9.
off.
I mean, and I would say a vast majority of us try to cut people breaks as much as they can, as much as they possibly can. But sometimes it's warranted for the educational purpose of it.
No, I agree.
So this is where you're dealing with, an intense moment. Nobody likes that when you see the blue lights and you're having to, look for your registration, driver's license, insurance, and all that kind of stuff. The humanity comes in, and everybody knows Jared Leggett's a nice guy, right? You've got that rapport about you. So, so you've got to be dealing with just a mixture of emotions and reactions, and that's not easy for what you guys do.
I can speak for myself. I think I do a really good job of trying to de-escalate any situation I come into contact with. I mean, I think there was a letter just addressed to you not too long ago where I wrote a gentleman a citation for speeding, and he wrote a thank you letter to the sheriff about
He did.
That's great.
How great his experience was with the traffic unit. Even though he got a ticket, he was still happy with it. Believe it or not, most of the time, I would say 9 times out of 10, out of all the stops I do, I get a thank you at the end of it. I get a thank you, have a great day, drive safe, I support what you do. After a ticket. And that's just how you handle
And that's the way we all should be. I mean, it's about respect. We still respect the person. We're not trying to jam them up, and we don't want to ruin their day. There are things that we have to do, and sometimes that's issuing you a citation. And but as long as we are respectful too, in that conversation with them, which Jared is, obviously, if you get a attaboy letter for writing someone a ticket, that means that you have a great attitude and you respect people and you're professional.
I mean, even prior to the super speeder law, I wrote the 131 in a 50 ticket. That's $1,106. I got a thank you at the end of that from the father.
Oh, the father.
The father
Good.
of that kid. He actually gave me a thank you for that. Like he's like, hey, you probably saved my kid's life.
Yeah, and that's the goal. Can we get them thinking? Can that one encounter with a deputy, can that get them thinking properly, slow them down, right? Stay focused on doing the speed limit because you don't want to get another citation.
Mm-hmm. And learning.
Is there a good deterrent?
Or even worse, I mean, I know you've probably done it through your years as a trooper and as a sheriff. I mean, you've taken that long walk up to somebody's front porch before, right? That's the longest walk you'll ever make. To go tell them that their kid's been involved in a crash, or
That's the worst thing I've ever had to do.
It's by far the worst thing
I've ever had to do.
And that's the stuff that sticks with you, and that's the stuff that motivates me to get everybody to slow down, do what they're supposed to do, because I don't want to do that walk again.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important that people are hearing this, because they see the motive is that we're trying to make this a safe community, and we're concerned about that driver. But yet you have to, enforce it. There are consequences, and at the same time, wow, look at the things you're having to see every day.
Right. It's definitely an experience. You see a lot of different things every single day. Every day you come to work is a whole new experience around the fishbowl.
Red lights, huge problem. people blowing red lights going right through
But it was
the
yellow.
intersection.
It was yellow.
Yeah, but even if we're not there to write a citation, those are high-speed crashes. As you're trying to get through there quickly, and you run a red light, and someone is turning in that intersection because they have a green light. I mean, we've had a lot of fatalities in this county because of people running red lights. And once again, we need to slow down and pay attention and obey the law. It's real simple.
Along the same line with intersections and those lights, we got to look for pedestrians.
Right.
And I know we've had some efforts, campaigns that we've done because our numbers haven't been great on pedestrian involved.
Manatee,
crashes.
Sarasota, the whole Tampa Bay area, we have a lot of pedestrian traffic.
Right.
And we have people that don't, that they're violating, that pedestrian that's in a crosswalk. They're not stopping. And the biggest issue I see is right turns. They don't want to stop for a right turn, so they do that California stop, and you got a pedestrian in the crosswalk, and they hit them. So it's just about slowing down and paying attention. We can say that 100 times.
100 times
During this podcast.
You could even hit that nail on the head any better though. It is about paying attention. Everybody has to slow down. Just be patient. Do the right thing. Don't run the red lights. Don't block the box. That's another one for keeping traffic flowing in the county.
So much so that the city of Bradenton put, basically don't block the box right there in the intersection because they have a huge issue on Manatee Avenue and First Street.
It's tough downtown.
Yes, it
Sure
is. It's real tough.
Yeah, and you're that car that's go forward. Oh no, come on, go. I'm stuck now. And it's
Stuck in the middle.
What do you do?
And everybody's honking at you, trying to get you out of the way, and you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, and if you wait, and then the guy behind you is honking, but listen, like you said, everybody just needs to take a moment and pause. And be patient, be alert. So alert comes back to you guys and the dangers that you face just even being on the side of the road, walking up to somebody's car. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, every stop you do is an entirely different experience. You don't know what you're going to get when you walk up there. It's kind of a roll of the dice every single time. Either you get somebody who's super sympathetic or, hey, I'm really sorry that I was doing that. I totally get it. Or you get somebody who's just very angry at you for even inconveniencing their day.
Yeah, I talk about this when I'm speaking to the Citizens Academy every year. You don't know when you make that traffic stop, is this person just like you and I, or did they just commit an act of violence, a domestic situation where, they're not thinking properly? Are they going to do us harm? Do they think that we're there to stop them and to arrest them because of what just occurred? You always have to be paying attention. And I tell people, we're not there during that traffic stop to hold court. We're not holding court on the side of the road. We're going to be professional. You get your citation. All right, if you want to fight that citation, that is your right. Here are your options, and we'll see you in court. But we're not going to stand out there on the side of the road talking to you about, what you believe you didn't do.
That's right. Yeah, that's the same thing. I can be in and out of a traffic stop in 3 or 4 minutes and have it totally explained, let you know all your options, and get you down the road real quick and get you back to doing what you're supposed to be doing. But it's just a challenge. It's just every stop is different. Every stop is unique.
Well, because people don't pay attention. Once again, let's just keep saying that. So I don't know what it is about blue lights, but for some people, it's like a bug zapper. Right, they're drawn to the blue light, so they're not paying attention. And you got a deputy that's standing close to the edge of the roadway, trying to talk to the citizen who violated whatever traffic law, and they are not getting away from you. They're not moving over, or in worst case, they run into the back of your car or motorcycle.
I've had that happen before. We had one of the motor guys get hit with a mirror on the side of the road. So you stand there, they just get too close. But that also brings up a good point about the Florida move over law. And we start talking about if you have the ability to move over the lane closest to us, you need to vacate that lane, scoot over, and slow down below 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. That way it gives us room to work, keeps us safe, keeps everybody safe, honestly.
Been a lot of good education on that. People should know about move over. I see it a lot of times because people are starting to slow down, especially on interstate.
On the interstate, you see people slowing
lanes.
down. You see people really making an attempt to get over. They know.
Yeah,
For the most part, they are paying attention when it comes to that.
And we're looking at it through our eyes, but that also applies to tow trucks and other vehicles, right?
Yeah, road rangers,
sanitation workers, anybody that's on the side of the road with the flashing lights, well, regardless of the color, fire EMS. Just slow down. Give everybody room to work. We all want to get home to our families too. We don't want to get hit by cars. That's not necessarily the way I want to go out. So,
I lost a classmate from the FHP Academy who was a state trooper doing her job, Miami, traffic stop on the interstate, and was hit by a drunk driver.
Oh.
You remember all those good times that you had with them through the academy, and for her to be taken like that is a careless, selfish act. And let's talk about that for a minute. I have deputies that make 100 DUI arrests every year. That's just us. That doesn't include the DUI arrests being made by the other municipalities, FHP. So what does that tell you? That tells you that they are arresting someone for the offense of driving under the influence any night of the week. That is absolutely the most selfish thing you can do. In this day and age, you can get Uber, Lyft, designated driver, it doesn't matter. You have all of these options available. But you're so selfish that you're going to get behind the wheel of that car knowing that you are impaired and take a chance of hurting or taking the life of another person. That's just absolutely that's not going to be tolerated.
Right.
And you're going to go to prison.
Yes. Yeah.
That's serious. Where you're going.
It's serious. It's a hit on you financially. I mean, there's so many consequences. It's a judgment error, and we know.
Okay, but that's BS. You know when you're going to go out. You know you're going to be drinking. You prepare. Yep. Be ready. Mm-hmm. Right. Once again, you have a lot more options available to you, and they need to, plan that out. Don't say, oh well, I couldn't get home. That's BS.
Right.
You could get home, or you know what? Don't go home. Just sit it off here. Right. Sleep it off. I don't care what you do.
Be responsible. And like you say, Sheriff, there are more options today than ever before. So that's a message that you can't repeat enough there.
Yeah, because every year we go to the MAD walkathon. They have this event for the victims that have been killed from DUI drivers, and that crowd keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. And the families are there trying to honor their loved one, and it's heartbreaking. We can do a lot better.
I totally agree with you. I mean,
we're living in times where obviously people have a lot of things on their mind, and like you said, they're not being patient, they're not being alert. We've got to be more responsible, and we're not a small community anymore. So
not like it used to be.
Yeah, so many cars out there, and traffic is definitely a hot topic.
Randy, we're going to continue to increase the traffic unit and to make sure that we're doing our part. I am very blessed to have some dedicated traffic deputies. You got to want to do that job, right? You got to want to do it, and they do an outstanding job, especially motors in August. You got to want to do it, right?
Yeah, that's a cool BMW bike.
That's a nice BMW. They're great bikes to ride.
Yeah, they are. So you're welcome.
Yeah, so I appreciate you. Thanks
We're going to continue to do that, but we'll get back to people. You've got to take responsibility for your actions. All right, we're not going to sugarcoat. You got to slow down. You got to pay attention. You got to be respectful to those around you, and don't go crying to us when we pull you over for violating the law.
Take responsibility for your actions.
Yeah. So
very well said.
Always take responsibility for your actions. Can't get any better than that.
Well, we hope this conversation has been interesting. And if you know somebody who has a lot of questions about traffic, you think they may be interested in hearing this conversation, then share it with them. And we're on all the platforms out there for podcasts. We're on our YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you tuning in. For Sheriff Rick Wells and Deputy Jared Leggett, I'm Randy Warren. We'll talk to you next time.